Hey, good evening everyone. Hope everybody had a great day today. I want to spend tonight's video talking a little bit about how we handle rejection. And what I mean by that is that simple yet powerful word no that we're all so afraid to hear. For most of us, it usually goes something like this. You know, from a personal perspective, when we hear the word no, we think to ourselves, well, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? Don't they trust me? I wouldn't lie to them or lead them wrong. So why are they saying no to me? That usually turns into anger, and then we say things like, I thought they were supposed to be my friend, my family, my colleague, boy was I wrong. And eventually it turns into an avoidance issue where we start to say, nope, not going to go through that again. That hearing no from them was too much of an emotional roller coaster the last time around. So they basically we shy away from them. We avoid it altogether for fear of hearing that word again. At some point, when we're all children, and I like to use this analogy, as a father of 7, a child has no fear of the word no. They'll ask you the same thing over and over again. Can I have that cookie? No. Can I have that cookie? No. Can I have that cookie? No. Can I have that cookie? Okay, but just one. They don't have any concept of fearing the word no. In fact, they want to continue to ask that until they get to what they're looking for, which is a yes, or maybe even that lingering maybe. That's important because for whatever reason, as we grow into our teenage years, we start to fear that rejection and hearing that word no and anything like that. We take it personal, and this brings about a caution in us that begins to sway us from taking those chances and the small chance that we might hear that word no. And then somewhere along the way into adulthood, it's now like a subconscious habit. So our conscious mind has basically repetitively, beat it into our subconscious mind that we don't want to hear that word no, and so we avoid any outcome that leads to the word no. Our mind has decided that the emotional affiliations that are attached to that word are just too much, and we should avoid any encounters that elicit that word no. So what do? We unfortunately cast aside our dreams and our passions, the same things that we enjoyed and thought about when we were growing up. What do we want to be when we grow up? What do we want to do? Where do we want to go? And instead we sacrifice the word no, and we sacrifice our safety and security so that we only hear the word yes. So how do we reset that subconscious mind to stop avoiding no? Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to stop fearing it. In fact, you should really challenge yourself to hear more of it, as crazy as that sounds. When I'll give you, for example, so there was a study that was done where they talked to the Fortune 500 CEOs, and they were asking them, well, what are some things that you do that make you successful? And one of the things they said was they've heard no more than any of their competitors, but that each time they heard it, it only emboldened them to keep trying and pushing harder. So no was not an emotional turnoff. Instead, it became like a rally cry to try harder. And as a result, they heard no more times, but those no's turned into yeses. And that gets into my final point, where eventually their mindset became such that they stopped striving to hear yes, and instead they shifted and revamped their goals to hear more of no, knowing that those encounters would bring about more yeses in the long game. We have to stop fearing the word no in whatever we're doing, whether it's home-based businessing, whether it's parenting, whether it's our interactions with our colleagues or our friends or our family. And instead we have to become empowering, pushing ourselves to resolve to stay the course in the knowledge that the next encounter is going to be a yes, or could be a yes, and the one after that, and so on and so forth. Those no's will turn into yeses. This becomes a confidence booster. It reprograms your subconscious mind, and the cool thing about it is when that confidence is there, when you're in your discussions with folks, they've said no to you and you've come back a couple times around, and they start to see that confidence, and that confidence becomes infectious, and people want to be part of something that's rooted in confidence. So actually, in coming back around with that confidence, you're more likely to sway them from a no to that maybe that we saw it out as children to eventually a yes. So remember, the alternative to overcoming this fear of no is mediocrity. And I think this is important because we need to understand that success cannot thrive in the presence of mediocrity. So you can't let that simple word no rob you of your success any longer. So as you go about your encounters tomorrow, strive to hear no. Don't fear it. If you do fear it, or if you do hear it rather, be emboldened by it and try again and seek out more opportunities, and don't be afraid of that word no. As always, go for great, and y'all have a great evening.